All right, so you wanted to know more about the romance of the Three Kingdoms,
Ah, yes.
a legendary tale. And you've given us quite a stack of articles and notes here to get us going, including some excerpts from the Wikipedia article on the romance of the Three Kingdoms.
A classic.
Okay, so for those who haven't encountered it before, what exactly is the romance of the Three Kingdoms?
Well, it's a historical novel,
Mm-hmm.
14th century.
Okay.
But so much more than just, a dry history book.
Right. It's
Yeah.
not a textbook.
No. Think warring kingdoms, ambitious leaders, incredible battles, and unshakable loyalty.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're talking about the Three Kingdoms period in Chinese history, roughly 220 to 280 AD.
A period, as I understand it, that's almost mythical in Chinese culture, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's seen as this pivotal era of conflict and change where the very foundations of the empire were, shaken. It's a time that really captures the imagination. And the novel itself, it draws heavily on older historical records, but it also kind of weaves in these elements of folklore and legend and, even a bit of political commentary.
So it's like history, myth, and political intrigue all rolled into one.
Yeah, exactly.
Sound like a page turner. But where did these stories even come from in the first place? Did somebody just make them up out of thin air?
Well, not quite. You see, the stories about these Three Kingdoms heroes, they've been circulating in China for centuries.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, going as far back as like the 6th century.
Wow.
Think about it. Professional storytellers, captivating audiences with tales of bravery and betrayal and military cunning.
So they were like ancient rock stars in a way.
Pretty much, yeah. People just couldn't get enough of these stories. And over time, they evolved.
Uh-huh.
They found their way into early written works. And then eventually, bam, enter Luo Guanzong,
Okay.
our playwright extraordinaire, sometime between, let's say, the 1300s and the early 1400s.
So he's the one who compiled it all into the novel that we know today.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
The romance is attributed to Luo Guanzong, but there's another layer to this story.
Oh.
The version that we read today, it wasn't actually printed until 1522.
Okay.
And even then, it was likely circulating in handwritten copies for decades before that.
Interesting. So what we think of as like the definitive romance of the Three Kingdoms, it may not have been, the original version.
Exactly. Then fast forward to the 1660s, and we have these two editors, Mao Lin and his son, Mao Zonggang.
Okay.
They decide to give the novel a major makeover. They trimmed it down. They reorganized chapters.
Wow.
They even added those famous opening lines that, the empire, long divided, must unite. Long united must divide. Thus it has ever been.
Wait a minute. Those iconic lines weren't even in the original manuscript?
Nope.
That's a pretty bold move for an editor to make, right?
It is fascinating, isn't it? Some scholars even believe that the Maos had, maybe a hidden agenda, perhaps even, a subtle critique of the ruling Qing dynasty at the time.
Oh, intrigue on top of intrigue. So we've got this legendary novel with centuries of storytelling behind it. But let's zoom out for a second. What was happening in China during this time period that made the Three Kingdoms period such fertile ground for these kinds of epic tales?
Well, picture China in the late Eastern Han dynasty, around the 2nd century AD.
Okay.
The empire's teetering on the brink, riddled with corruption and facing widespread discontent among the people.
Sounds like a recipe for chaos.
Exactly. It was a powder keg just waiting to explode. And then, boom, along comes the Yellow Turban Rebellion,
Okay.
led by Zhang Jiao and his brothers.
Oh, wow.
These guys weren't messing around. They claimed to have magical powers. They promised, new era of peace and prosperity.
Classic revolutionary rhetoric. Did they pull it off?
Well, they dealt a significant blow to the already weakened empire.
Uh-huh.
But the rebellion was eventually put down.
Okay.
But you see, it exposed these deep cracks in the Han Dynasty's foundations. And, into this power vacuum stepped the warlords.
Ah, the warlords. Now things are getting interesting.
Yes. It's all about ambition and power grabs. Imagine figures like Dong Zhuo, a ruthless warlord, sees his chance to seize control.
Wow.
He marches into the capital, deposes the young emperor, and installs a puppet ruler.
He doesn't sound like the sharing type.
No. He quickly became the villain everyone loved to hate.
Yeah.
Known for his brutality, his thirst for power, and his utter disregard for the well-being of the people. It's no wonder that a coalition of other warlords rose up to challenge him.
So this is where we meet some of the big names, right? People like Yuan Shao and of course, Cao Cao.
Precisely. But here's where things get really, really interesting. You see, these alliances are anything but stable.
Oh.
Everyone has got their own ambitions, their own agendas. It's like this giant game of chess, with alliances constantly shifting, betrayals lurking around every corner.
So it's a real political thriller unfolding here. But in the midst of all this chaos, we also have our heroes emerging, right? We've got Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei.
Exactly. These three warriors, bound by their legendary oath of the Peach Garden, vow to restore order and righteousness to the land. They swear brotherhood and loyalty to the Han Dynasty, becoming symbols of hope in a world just, spiraling towards chaos.
Now, hold on. The Oath of the Peach Garden. That's got to be like one of the most iconic moments in the whole novel, right? It's like their mission statement.
It is a pivotal moment. It establishes Liu Bei and his sworn brothers as the central protagonists.
Yeah.
The champions of virtue in a world gone mad. They represent, these ideals of loyalty, brotherhood, and righteous leadership that the empire desperately needs.
It's like the classic hero's journey, right?
Yeah.
Three warriors banding together against impossible odds to save their world. But they're up against some formidable opponents. We've got the tyrannical Dong Zhuo, and then a whole host of these ambitious warlords. And then there's Cao Cao. He's a bit of a wild card, isn't he?
Cao Cao is, he's one of the most complex and fascinating characters in the entire novel.
Yeah.
He starts as part of that coalition against Dong Zhuo, but his ambitions run much deeper.
Okay.
He's a brilliant strategist, a master of manipulation, and, let's just say he's not afraid to get his hands dirty.
So is he a villain or a visionary? I can't quite figure him out.
That is the brilliance of Cao Cao. He defies easy categorization.
Yeah.
He's capable of, great ruthlessness, but he also displays moments of generosity, even a sense of humor.
Right.
He's a pragmatist, a survivor, and ultimately a leader driven by his own vision for, a unified China.
Wow. He really is like a Shakespearean character, full of contradictions and ambition. It makes you wonder what would have happened if he had actually succeeded in uniting the empire under his rule.
Right.
But Liu Bei, he has his own kind of secret weapon, right? Enter Zhuge Liang, the brilliant strategist.
Zhuge Liang. He is practically a legend in his own time.
Yeah.
The romance describes him as this, brilliant scholar and strategist, living in seclusion until Liu Bei seeks him out.
Oh, wow. So Liu Bei actually goes looking for him. That's dedication.
It was one of the most famous parts of the story. Liu Bei, recognizing his own limitations, travels to Zhuge Liang's, humble dwelling 3 times.
3 times.
Before finally persuading him to join his cause. It shows Liu Bei's humility, his willingness to learn, and his understanding that he needs, a brilliant mind like Zhuge Liang's to achieve his goals.
That's amazing. It's like the classic mentor-student relationship, but with the fate of an entire empire at stake. And with Zhuge Liang on board, things start to escalate pretty quickly. And this is where we get to the epic Battle of Red Cliffs.
You're right. This is where the story really explodes.
Okay.
Cao Cao, with his massive army, is on a roll.
Oh.
He's sweeping south, crushing all opposition, and seems destined to, unite all of China under his rule.
So how do our heroes even stand a chance against this, seemingly unstoppable force?
Well, Liu Bei and Sun Quan, another powerful warlord controlling the southeastern region, they realize they can't defeat Cao Cao alone. It's a classic case of, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
So they form an alliance.
Exactly. 2 ambitious leaders putting aside their differences to face a common enemy.
I bet that's a tense partnership.
Well, it's a marriage of convenience, for sure, full of suspicion, maneuvering on both sides. But, they know they need each other if they're going to have any chance of stopping Cao Cao. And this is where Zhuge Liang's strategic genius truly shines.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. Tell me everything about this Battle of Red Cliffs.
The Battle of Red Cliffs. A turning point in the romance.
Yeah.
A clash of wits and military might, you see. With Cao's overwhelming force facing off against the combined forces of Liu Bei and Sun Quan.
And Zhuge Liang, I'm guessing he's got a few tricks up his sleeve.
Oh, he is the master of strategy.
Okay.
The Battle of Red Cliffs showcases some of the most incredible military tactics and stratagems in the entire novel.
Wow.
It's a masterclass in deception, exploiting your enemy's weaknesses and using the environment itself to your advantage. Cao Cao underestimates his opponents, and he pays the price. They use a combination of brilliant tactics, a bit of luck, and even some clever manipulation of, the winds.
Winds.
The Allied forces inflict a devastating defeat on Cao Cao's supposedly invincible navy.
Wow. So the underdogs pull it off. I mean, this victory must have had massive implications for the future of China.
Oh, it reshapes the entire political landscape.
Yeah.
The Battle of Red Cliffs marks the, the true emergence of the three kingdoms.
Okay.
Cao Cao, though weakened, retreats north, consolidates his power, establishing the Kingdom of Wei.
Okay.
Liu Bei, thanks in no small part to Zhuge Liang's guidance, gains control of the southwest, forms the Kingdom of Shuhan. And Sun Quan, solidifying his hold on the southeast, establishes the Kingdom of Eastern Wu.
So China's now divided.
Yeah.
3 powerful kingdoms, all vying for dominance. What a dramatic shift. But that alliance between Liu Bei and Sun Quan, did it survive this victory?
It was always fragile.
Yeah.
A lot of distrust, maneuvering for position. And ultimately, it unravels, leading to, one of the most tragic and emotionally charged episodes in the romance, the death of Guan Yu.
Oh, no, not Guan Yu. He was like the epitome of loyalty and bravery. What happened?
Well, remember Jing Province,
Yeah.
a strategically vital territory, becomes a point of contention between Liu Bei and Sun Quan. Is under Guan Yu's control. But while he's away on campaign against Wei, Sun Quan seizes opportunity.
Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going.
Sun Quan launches a surprise attack.
Oh, no.
Catches Guan Yu completely off guard. By the time Guan Yu realizes what's happening, it's too late. He loses Jing Province, his army is scattered, and he's forced into a desperate retreat.
Knowing Guan Yu, he probably fought to the bitter end.
He makes a valiant last stand at a city called Meicheng.
Okay.
But he is outnumbered, surrounded by Sun Quan's forces.
Yeah.
Now, Sun Quan, recognizing Guan Yu's legendary reputation, actually offers him a chance to switch sides.
There's no way Guan Yu would ever betray his oath to Liu Bei.
You're absolutely right. Guan Yu, true to his character, chooses death before dishonor, refuses to betray his sworn brother, and is executed.
That's heartbreaking. Guan Yu's death must have been a devastating blow to Liu Bei, both personally and strategically.
It's a real turning point in the romance. Liu Bei, consumed by grief and driven by this thirst for revenge, ignores the advice of his most trusted advisors, including Zhuge Liang.
Wow, even Zhuge Liang couldn't stop him.
He launches this massive campaign against Eastern Wu, determined to avenge Guan Yu's death. It's an emotional decision, one that ultimately proves disastrous for Liu Bei and for Shu Han.
So the alliance is shattered.
Yeah.
And the 3 kingdoms are back at war. What happens next?
Initially, Liu Bei enjoys some success against Sun Quan.
Okay.
But Sun Quan has this brilliant young general of his own, Lu Shun, who proves to be more than a match for the grieving Liu Bei.
Uh-oh.
At the Battle of Yiling, Lu Shun uses a combination of clever tactics, strategic maneuvering, and a well-timed fire attack to inflict a crushing defeat on Liu Bei's forces.
This does not sound good for Liu Bei. Does he recover from this?
He barely escapes with his life. The defeat at Yiling is, it's a turning point for Liu Bei, both physically and emotionally. He retreats to Bidicheng, a city in present-day Sichuan province, where he falls ill.
So the weight of grief and military defeat, it's taking its toll.
He dies a few months later. His dreams of restoring the Han dynasty unfulfilled.
What a somber moment in the story. With Liu Bei gone, what happens to Shu Han?
Before his death, Liu Bei entrusts his young son, Liu Shan, to the care of Zhuge Liang.
Oh, wow.
It is a monumental responsibility, especially with, Shu Han facing threats from both inside and out.
Talk about pressure. Does Zhuge Liang, does he rise to the challenge?
Oh, he steps into the role of regent, essentially ruling Shu Han while, guiding and mentoring the young emperor. He proves to be not only a brilliant strategist, but also a wise and dedicated leader.
So he's not just a military mastermind, he's also a skilled politician, administrator.
He faces challenges on all fronts. Wei under Cao Pai, Cao Cao's son and successor, is eager to exploit Shu Han's perceived weakness.
Right.
There are internal power struggles within the Shu Han court. And even, rebellious tribes on the southern borders pose a threat to the kingdom's stability.
So he's really got his work cut out for him. How does he handle all of this?
Zhuge Liang demonstrates incredible versatility. He strengthens Shu Han's defenses, secures alliances with neighboring kingdoms, and even launches a series of expeditions against Wei, hoping to, weaken their grip on the north and eventually reclaim lost territories.
So he's continuing Liu Bei's mission to restore the Han Dynasty. Are these expeditions, are they successful?
Zhuge northern expeditions become legendary. He leads his armies against formidable Wei generals, showcasing his tactical brilliance and unwavering determination.
But does he ultimately succeed in fulfilling Liu Bei's dream?
Despite his brilliance and unwavering dedication, Zhuge Liang faces setback after setback. Sometimes it's bad luck, sometimes it's interference from the Shuhan court, and sometimes it's just the sheer tenacity of his opponents in Wei.
Yeah.
He comes tantalizingly close to victory on several occasions. But fate seems to conspire against him.
It's got to be so frustrating. All that effort, all that brilliance, and still falling short. What eventually happens to him?
After years of relentless campaigning, exhausted, heartbroken by the failures to achieve his goals, Zhuge Liang dies during his final northern expedition.
Oh, wow.
His death is a monumental loss for Shuhan and marks the beginning of the kingdom's decline.
What a tragic end for such a dedicated and brilliant leader. It really does highlight the complexities of leadership, the burdens of responsibility, and the often cruel hand of fate. But what about the other two kingdoms, Wei and Eastern Wu? What happens to them?
The struggle for power continues, but the focus shifts from epic battles to internal politics.
Okay.
In Wei, the Cao family, who founded the kingdom, they gradually lose their grip on power.
Right.
A powerful and ambitious family, the Sima clan, gains influence within the court and eventually stages a coup, establishing the Jin dynasty.
So it's not a war that brings an end to Wei, but a power grab from within. History is full of surprises.
And in Eastern Wu, a similar story of internal strife and decline unfolds. After Sun Quan's death, the kingdom is plagued by power struggles, incompetent rulers. The Jin dynasty, having consolidated its control over the north, sees their opportunity and launches a final campaign against a weakened Eastern Wu.
So this is the final chapter of the Three Kingdoms era. The Jin dynasty ultimately triumphs and reunites China, bringing an end to decades of conflict.
The Jin dynasty's victory marks the end of a tumultuous era and ushers in a new chapter in Chinese history.
Yeah.
But the legacy of the Three Kingdoms period and the romance of the Three Kingdoms itself continues to resonate with people today. It's a story that speaks to these universal themes of loyalty, ambition, betrayal, and the enduring human struggle for power. It
makes you think about how those same themes play out in our own lives, even in, the 21st century. The romance of the Three Kingdoms is clearly more than just, a historical novel. It's a reflection on human nature itself. But before we get too philosophical, there's one thing I keep coming back to. We've been, focusing on the big picture, the major players, the epic battles, but the romance, it's famous for its incredible depth and detail. This incredible cast of characters. Each one, even the seemingly minor players, has their own story to tell, their own motivations, their own complexities.
That's what makes it so endlessly fascinating. Yeah. You could spend a lifetime exploring its depths and still, discover new layers of intrigue and insight.
Like, what about Daokan? We haven't even touched upon her story. But she plays, a pretty pivotal role.
Oh, Daokan. She's a fascinating example of how the romance blends, history and fiction to create this, truly compelling narrative. Technically, she is a fictional character.
Right.
But her story is central to Dongzhu's downfall.
That's right. She gets caught up in this, elaborate plot to turn Dongzhu against his adopted son, Lu Bu. She's portrayed as this incredibly beautiful woman, used as a pawn to manipulate these powerful men.
Exactly. A classic tale of seduction and betrayal. And it raises all sorts of questions about, manipulation, loyalty, and the role of women in a patriarchal society.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even amidst the clash of armies and the grand schemes of warlords, individual lives are profoundly impacted by these power struggles.
It makes you realize that the romance is about so much more than just, battles and political maneuvering. It's about human relationships, love, loss, and the choices we make in the face of, extraordinary circumstances.
Absolutely. And it's all woven together with this, rich tapestry of philosophy, strategy, even folklore. I mean, the romance draws inspiration from Confucianism, Taoism, even, military strategy texts like The Art of War. It's it's a story that operates on multiple levels, offering something for everyone.
It's no wonder that it's resonated with people for centuries. I mean, it's got it all. Action, romance, intrigue, philosophy, and even a few lessons on, leadership and strategy. What do you think for you is like the most enduring legacy of the romance of the Three Kingdoms?
I think it's the way the romance captures the complexities of human nature. These characters, they're not just, heroes or villains. They're flawed, ambitious, capable of great acts of loyalty and terrible betrayals. They're driven by love, by duty, by revenge. They make mistakes. They face difficult choices, and they ultimately have to live with the consequences of their actions.
It's a reminder that history isn't just, a collection of dates and names in a textbook. It's a story about real people, their passions, their struggles, their triumphs, and their failures.
And by understanding those stories, by connecting with these characters across the centuries, we can, gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
Absolutely. We've only scratched the surface of this epic tale, but hopefully this deep dive has given you a better understanding of the Three Kingdoms period, the enduring legacy of the romance of the Three Kingdoms, and the timeless themes that continue to captivate readers around the world.
It's a story that stays with you long after you finish reading it. Makes you think, makes you feel.
I think. And
leaves you wanting to, explore its depths even further.
So if you're looking for a story that combines history, adventure, romance, and profound insights into human nature, look no further than The Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Happy reading.